Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, candidate for Elmira City Court Judge, Jordan, thanks so much for being on the program.
Hi, Frank. Thank you very much.
This is exciting. How's the campaign going?
Oh, the campaign is going great. We have been out based.
Driving down the road, I get a feeling like I should have been home yesterday. Well, good morning and welcome to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio on Marcus Street in Corning, and we have a jam-packed show in store for you this morning. We've got two guests on. In the 6 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with Dave from the Days of Incandescence, which is beginning today here on Market Street in Corning. We're going to learn all about that event. It runs through Saturday. That's in the 6 o'clock hour. In the 7 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with Jordan York. He is running for Elmira City Court Judge. So that is in the 7 o'clock hour. We've got some viewer comments to get to. We're also going to give you an update on some stories we've brought to you all week. And, of course, last night's mayoral debate. Who won it? We've got, probably 5-6 different articles about the takeaways from the debate. But most importantly, I want to know your takeaways from the debate. But first, some comments that came in after yesterday's broadcast. Rick wrote in and said, "I didn't say that, Ken. You make things up like your hero." Now, Ken, just to give a little background, had said to a comment that Rick made, "So according to one of your viewers, I guess it was better to have a president that let others make decisions and couldn't sign his own name. We should all remember, to make an omelet, you have to break a few eggs." So that was a little back and forth. A different viewer writes, "I applaud Rick for watching and getting educated." So there you go. Those all came in right at the end of the program. I didn't have a chance to read them. Now, this morning, Mark writes in, good morning to you, Mark. "This government shutdown is ridiculous. I've seen the Republican no strings attached bill." Yes, a clean continuing resolution. "But I haven't seen the Democrats' bill that gives illegals health insurance. Why don't the Democrats be more transparent and show us the bill?" To your point, Senator John Fetterman broke from his party yesterday, and he's been doing that frequently. That's why we've had articles that we brought to you on the program where Democrats are trying to find primary challenges for him. They're trying to oust him. He said he's willing to pay a price to help reopen the government, even if it means breaking with his party. Quote, "I'm always going to vote country over my party, and if I pay a price within my base, that's something I'm willing to do. I'm not afraid to tell my truth. I'm going to pay, even if I'm going to pay a penalty. I'm not afraid of that. It's wrong to shut our government down," Fetterman said. Now, he has consistently voted to open the government back up. Yesterday, marking the 22nd day, making it the second longest shutdown in history. "I refuse to vote to suspend SNAP for millions of Pennsylvanians in my state and across the entire nation. That's going to be suspended because our government is shut down. I can't ever vote for that kind of mass food insecurity." He also condemned what he described as extreme rhetoric. This is again on Hannity's show, saying extreme kinds of rhetoric make it easier for those extreme kind of actions. "I refuse to be a part of it and comparing people to Hitler and those things. If that's what's required to win, then I refuse to. We've lost the plot," he said, referring to the Democrat Party. "I refuse to call my fellow citizens fascists or Nazis or those things. If somebody wants to primary me or the party wants to vote me out, I'm going to go down being honest and telling you that that is wrong. It is just basic humanity, and we're forgetting that we all need each other." That's Senator John Fetterman. Now, to Mark's point, Hakeem Jeffries was on MSNBC on the program called All In. And when asked if the Affordable Care Act is broken, that's one of the reasons why they're continuing the now 23-day shutdown. But asking if the ACA, it's broken if it needs subsidies, right? And he just said healthcare system is broken. Let me give you the full context. Chris Hayes said, "What do you say to people who say, look, the subsidies at issue were first passed during COVID as an emergency measure. They have been extended now. It's 2025. Is there some fundamental failure of the Affordable Care Act or the entire system if, absent this kind of Band-Aid, you're going to see these sorts of price spikes?" Basically, if the government doesn't help pay for it with these subsidies and prices skyrocket, isn't that a failure in and of itself? Jeffrey said, "Well, listen, we believe that our healthcare system is broken and it is in need of comprehensive reform. Republicans, of course, have aggravated the situation in the most extraordinary way in a variety of ways. Largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Their policies are closing hospitals and nursing homes and community-based health clinics all across the country. Of course, they're assaulting medical research, have basically shut that down in the country. They want to trigger the largest cut to Medicare at the end of the year, $536 billion. And of course, the issue with the refusal to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. Now, initially, it was passed as part of the American Rescue Plan in March of 2021. But it was extended as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, and that was in 2022 because, as Democrats, we understood that the American people were experiencing this extraordinary high cost of living in all the areas, and they promised on day one that they were going to lower the high cost of living, meaning Donald Trump and Republicans. Costs aren't going down. They're going up. Grocery prices going up, housing costs going up, child care going up, and of course, as a result of what they refuse to do, healthcare premiums about to skyrocket for tens of millions of people. Isn't that interesting? After 4 years of not admitting that there was a high cost of living until now, very convenient, under the Biden administration, it is expected Donald Trump to fix all the wrongs of the Biden administration within 10 months. So 4 years of outrageous spending, the inflation, all to be fixed overnight in 10 months. But admitting there that the healthcare system is broken, admitted that this is a scenario that they created themselves, and Speaker Johnson saying similar yesterday. Let's remember, this is House Speaker Mike Johnson. In their desperation now, they're trying their very best to somehow blame Republicans for the forthcoming healthcare crisis that they themselves created by way of, just very quick review for the record, because they're trying to obscure this as well. Let's remember the true origins of the boondoggle that is American healthcare. Under Obamacare, Democrats wrote that bill. They passed it into law without a single Republican vote. During the COVID pandemic, Democrats created temporary Obamacare credits, again without a single Republican vote. Democrats then voted to extend those credits. They set the expiration date on, and then when they held the majority in the Senate, it was Democrats who chose not to extend those credits beyond this year. Now, as we approach their own self-imposed expiration date, now they are breathlessly insisting to you and on all the interviews that somehow it's a Republican crisis. Give me a break. The facts are the facts. We're up here sharing the simple fact and truth. As John Adams said, facts are stubborn things. He emphasized that Democrats are the ones who manufactured the entire situation without a single Republican vote. And now when the chickens are coming back home to roost, they're trying to blame the other team. It is utter nonsense. Now, he acknowledged that health care is a complicated issue and that there are hundreds of views on it. But Republicans, he said, do not want to attempt to solve it in a backroom deal with Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer has been suggesting that Ford leaders should go into a smoke-filled back room like they used to in the old days and create this solution. It's not a possible thing to do whenever appropriate. It's not possible to put on a continuing resolution because it's such a complex issue. That's how this system works here. And as soon as Chuck Schumer reopens the government, all of our members will have an opportunity to engage in the very important discussion of how to make Obamacare affordable. But we won't engage in Democrats' hostage-taking, nor will we pay a ransom. We certainly won't engage in their unserious proposals. Now, thank you. So, Mark, that was just in kind of response to your original point. But there are a couple other breaking stories before we take our first commercial break. Trump's administration significantly upped sanctions on Russia, sharing a press release from his Treasury Department late yesterday afternoon, announcing additional sanction on Russia's top oil companies. The Treasury is placing Open Joint Stock Company Rosneft Oil and Lukoil OAO under sanctions laid out in Executive Order 14024 for operating or having operated in the energy sector of the Russian Federation economy. Today's actions increase pressure on Russia's energy sector and degrade the Kremlin's ability to raise revenue for its war machine and support its weakened economy. Now, we also learned yesterday that Trump has shot down the idea of giving Ukraine the, as he called it, highly complex Tomahawk missiles. He was speaking, I believe this is to reporters at the Oval Office, saying the problem with the Tomahawks is, a lot of people don't know, it'll take a minimum of 6 months, usually a year, to learn how to use. The only way a Tomahawk is going to be shot is if we shot it, and we're not going to do that. Trump added that there's a tremendous learning curve when it comes to using the highly complex weapons, and he signaled that he wouldn't want the U.S. military to train other nations on how to effectively fire the very accurate missiles. It takes a year of intense training to learn how to use it, and we know how to use it, and we're not going to be teaching other people. Also, another quick update before we go to break. there's more scrutiny in regards to the Biden administration when it came to illegal immigration, because a 21-year-old illegal immigrant from India who crossed the southern border in 2022 and was released by the Biden administration is now accused of causing a fiery semi-truck crash that killed 3 people in Southern California. According to federal sources, the suspect, identified as Jaspreet Singh, was first encountered by Border Patrol agents in March of 2022 and released into the interior of the country pending an immigration hearing. Singh has now been arrested on suspicion of gross vehicular manslaughter while intoxicated after plowing his big rig into slow-moving traffic on the I-10 freeway in San Bernardino County. The crash, caught on a dash cam video, left at least 3 people dead and several injured. Police say Singh never hit the brakes before slamming into the traffic jam, citing toxicology tests that confirmed his impairment. DHS sources confirm he is not in lawful immigration status, and the ICE has lodged an immigration detainer following his arrest. Now, he was released under the Biden administration's 2002, quote, alternatives to detention policy, one of several instances Fox News has documented where illegal immigrants released pending hearings went on to commit a crime. So there you are. And final update. Now, we got a couple other updates, and then we're going to get, we got too many updates. I can't say final update. But I will say this is sort of an update as we head out the door. Coca-Cola has officially rolled out their cane sugar soda across the United States following Trump's urging, saying that it was better. I'm excited to try this, even though I'm not necessarily a soda person. A new 12-ounce single-serve glass bottle of Coca-Cola's signature soda made with U.S. cane sugar is launching in select markets nationwide this fall, according to a spokesperson. It gives consumers a classic and timeless way to enjoy their Coca-Cola original taste made with U.S. sugar cane. So keep an eye open for that. All right, we're just getting warmed up. We got a lot to cover. We got one more segment before we talk with Dave from the Days of Incandescence, so you don't want to miss that. Keep your comments, keep your waves coming in, and we'll be right back after this.
Your tap water is delicious.
I know, right? It's this Culligan Smart drinking water system.
What do you think is going on in there?
I'm smelling a touch of chlorine.
Yeah, I'm detecting some PFAS.
I'm also getting notes of lead.
Perfection.
Sending it up.
Here we go.
Certified to reduce more than 70 contaminants. It's like having your own team of water experts. See the smart difference at Culligan.com.
I'm Mary Offord. I've lived here for 70 years, but I do fine right here in my house, and I want to be here as long as I can be. And I feel comfortable knowing that if something happened to me, someone would know because of the cameras that are installed in various spots in my home. That has been a wonderful gift to me, to be able to have that security and that support from Full Circle America, and that's what it's all about.
Can you help me?
Mom, Dad, we're going out.
Thank you.
Oh, look, they're playing chess.
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
She's real sick, huh? Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who signs up to be an organ donor. How do you do it?
Easy. Just go to organdonor.gov.
You heard him, organdonor.gov.
More donors means more hope. Sign up at Organ Donor.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Yes, it is time for your Bad Bunny update. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell is unbothered by the firestorm that the NFL has created by hiring Bad Bunny to perform at the halftime of the Super Bowl. He said it's carefully thought through. This again, Roger Goodell. I'm not sure we've ever selected an artist where we didn't have some blowback or criticism. It's pretty hard to do when you have literally hundreds of millions of people that are watching. We're confident it's going to be a great show. He understands the platform that he's on, and I think it's going to be exciting and a united moment. He's one of the leading and most popular entertainers in the world. That's what we try to achieve. It's an important stage for us. It's an important element to the entertainment value. Is that your thoughts on Bad Bunny's performance? Okay, enough about that. An update from that story, disturbing story that we brought to you earlier in the week. Yes, we are going to talk about the mayoral debate. Don't worry. We're going to be talking about the days of incandescence here soon, but I want to get through some quick updates. We brought to you the disturbing story about that elementary school teacher who at the No Kings protest was caught on video making, I guess, a gesture in regards to Charlie Kirk's assassination, using her fingers as a gun to hit her neck, essentially. It was a sick, what they're calling Charlie Kirk gesture. Well, what we learn now, the principal of a Chicago public school painted the teacher who went viral for doing this, for mocking Charlie Kirk's assassination, painted the picture as, you guessed it, the victim. Oh, and made no mention of the accusations against her. Lucy Martinez, a teacher at Nathan Hale Elementary School, was recorded putting a finger to her neck and pretending to pull the trigger during a No Kings protest in the city over the weekend. You've probably seen the video by now. It's disturbing. It's also very annoying at her self-confidence, I guess would be. I don't know what word I want to use. Arrogance. Her gesture, widely seen as mocking the assassination of Kirk last month, sparked backlash. In a letter sent to the school community, Nathan Hale Elementary School principal Dawn Illis Gomez hit out at threats made against the teacher, but made no mention of why those threats were made or what she had done. We were recently made aware of social media posts with language that resemble a potential threat to a staff member. We take all potential threats extremely seriously to ensure the safety of our school community. The Chicago Police Department and the CPS Office of Safety and Security have been notified, and CPD is currently investigating the situation further. She added that additional safety support would be provided by the CPD at the start and end of the school day out of an abundance of caution. So, the school was making Martinez out to be the victim without ever acknowledging her vile behavior, mocking Charlie Kirk. So there you are. Keep that in mind. Because we talk so often about protests at college campuses, remember, this is an elementary school teacher. What is being taught to those children? All right. So really, I've got to say, a major story before we go to break. And I want to get your thoughts on this. The entire White House East Wing will now be demolished to make way for the ballroom. This was quite a breaking story, New York Times and elsewhere, criticizing this move, which comes as no surprise, criticizing this move. So we're going to talk about that after our interview, but I want to hear your thoughts, because just looking at some of the coverage of it, people saying that it's lawless. We had Hillary Clinton's comments yesterday, ironically. We're going to talk about it, but I want to give you one last update, and then we'll talk about the mayoral race. Your thoughts on it. I don't want to say the consensus, but a good chunk, anyway, of the media coverage of the mayoral debate last night had Cuomo outperforming Mamdani, doing a better job than Mamdani, but also some giving Sliwa begrudgingly a good rating. A lot of people said that Mamdani had a poor performance, was sweating, looked out of place. We're going to tell you all about it later in today's broadcast. Okay, yesterday I brought to you the story of Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki saying disgusting things about Usha Vance and J.D. Vance. Now keep in mind, the party that has called Trump worse than Hitler, she's now calling J.D. Vance worse than Trump. I don't know where this goes. It's predictable, I will say that, because remember they compared Bush to Hitler, and now when Trump got in there, they tried to say that, oh, Bush wasn't that bad. We missed those days. He was reasonable. They want you to forget your history. They want you. I would recommend there's a book called Righteous Indignation by Andrew Breitbart, and it was written quite a while ago. Andrew has passed away has died quite a while ago. But that book is interesting because he highlighted at the time, it's like a time capsule, what they were saying about George W. Bush at the time. So when they try to rewrite that history. But the reason I mention that is because now the talking point is going to be no matter who the next Republican candidate is, whether it's Vance, whether it's Rubio, whether it's Ted Cruz, whoever, they're actually worse than Trump. And then that'll continue and continue. But she suggested that Usha is scared in her marriage of J.D. Vance. Even saying, blink 4 times if you need us to save you. They do the same thing with Melania. They do that with all these very strong women married to Republicans. So I thought, and we talked about it yesterday, because I said, how insulting are Democrats to women, and just in general. Andrea Pizer at the Post echoed my point and did a much better job, saying, it's open season on women on the right. Comments spewed by a star of the far left information cesspool, MSNBC, stick out as nasty, sexist, and utterly degrading. Not only to women, but to the men who love them. Jen Psaki, who served as Joe Biden's press secretary, took aim at President Trump and J.D. Vance during a podcast. But she saved her most demeaning insults for Second Lady Usha Vance. She asserted that Mrs. Vance, 39, mother of 3, was afraid of her overly ambitious husband, who's even worse than Trump. She snidely offered to save the poor lady from harm secretly so her husband would not detect the rescue. Quote, I think the little Manchurian candidate, J.D. Vance, wants to be president more than anything else. Psaki sneered, as if Vance might be the first VP ever to crave a promotion to president. Hello, Joe Biden. Kamala Harris. You remember that, Ms. Psaki? I always wonder what's going on in the mind of his wife, she continued condescendingly. She suggested J.D. Vance is scarier than Trump and that his wife, who happens to be an accomplished Yale lawyer, may agree, but is too timid to fight back. She couldn't be a strong woman because her husband's a Republican. That's how much they hate MAGA. That's how much they hate Republicans, how much they hate Trump or anyone associated with Trump. So then, thinking she's funny, saying, like, are you okay? Please blink 4 times. We'll come over there. We'll save you. And this hypothetical, pampered, paid talker calls herself progressive. Slamming the spouses of Republican men is a popular pastime on the left. First Lady Melania Trump was attacked mainly during her husband's first term in office by progressives imagining she was being held hostage by the president. The barbs always portray the women on the right as incapable of thinking for themselves, weak, helpless prisoners of men. The double standard is glaring. Women on the left are portrayed as heroes. Democrats rarely, for example, take on Hillary Clinton for staying with President Clinton despite the Oval Office dalliances with adoring intern Monica Lewinsky. While women such as Melania Trump and Usha Vance are depicted as caricatures possessing zero agency, Hillary Clinton's willingness to stand by her man in the face of betrayal is either celebrated or ignored altogether. But cackling hyenas such as Jen Psaki care little about women who disagree with her. How in the world does she keep her job? So echoing the point that we've been making, it's an easy attack that they make. It's cliche, trite, but nothing new for women in the Democrat Party or the Democrat Party in general, men as well, to attack women and insult women. One thing Psaki did say on MSNBC yesterday, she told the Democrats to talk like human beings and burn the DNC talking points. People just have to become a little bit more relaxed. Let's go with the talking points, which, it's funny, it's part of my transition from being a communications ex-person to being on television, is we have officials on, and I would finish an interview and I'd say, we can't have that person on again. They literally read a list of talking points. There's a letting go and being a little freer, not being so perfect in how you talk about things, the words you use to talk about things. Just talk like a human being. Don't start with what the polling says. Don't start with these talking points, what they say, that are given to you by the DNC or wherever it is. First of all, no offense to the DNC. Burn the talking points to the ground. Start with that, what you view personally. You're a leader, you're educated, you're informed, and just say that. And it sounds simple, but a lot of people don't do it. All right, enough on that. Spent too much time on Jen Psaki. All right, when we come back, we are going to talk with Dave from the Days of Incandescence, which begins today here on Market Street. Then when we return, a quick update. Again, I want your opinion on the entire White House East Wing being demolished. Then we're going to talk about the mayoral debate. So we've got a lot to pack in. And then we're going to talk with Jordan York in the next hour, running for Elmira City Court Judge. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.
In the heart of nature, collisions happen when you least expect them. Deer hits can turn a tranquil drive into a chaotic moment. When the unexpected happens, turn to Scott's Collision. At Scott's Collision, we understand the frustration of unexpected encounters with wildlife. From dents to more extensive damage, we've got you covered. When nature and your vehicle collide, trust Scott's Collision to bring it back to life.
When you're on, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Yeah, hello. I'm really not sure if this is what you all do, but I really don't have anywhere else to turn.
Hi. I don't even know why I'm calling right now. I'm sorry. My thoughts are going a mile a minute.
My kids are out of state. My buddies from the Army are all gone now. I'm really alone.
I left the service last year. My mom just passed away a few months ago. I miss so much time with her. I keep getting calls about the bills, and I'm trying to get a job, but I feel so stuck.
Okay, ma'am. I'm glad you called.
Okay, sir. Let's stay on the line and walk through some things.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
The Twins' first prime-time local news. Catch weather, local and national news, events, and more with our anchors, Dante, Haley, and Ann. Find out what's happening in your community and more by watching Big Fox 10 p.m. News on W.
Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Aiken. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, in the heart of the Gaffer District, we have Dave from the Days of Incandescence. Welcome back, Dave.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
It's taken me a while to get it down. Days of Incandescence. You know, I don't know why, but we've been doing this numerous years. I think it's a tradition. How long have you been doing this?
We started originally in 2018. So
really,
yeah, with a little pause in 2020.
I was going to say that's a bad time to start something.
Yeah, it was just building momentum after 2019, and then we had to kind of cool the jets.
But I've got to say, you've been building momentum since the world opened up again, so to speak.
Yes.
It's growing bigger every year, isn't it?
Yeah, we've been adding. We add new stuff every year, and it has been growing each of the last, especially since 2022.
Yeah.
Now we have the event in the park that we didn't have previously.
Right.
So that's a really big, huge culminating event.
Well, it's become more of it starts today, a longer event, a bigger event, where it's almost rivals some of the other big events on Market Street. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I hope our hope is that it's something that draws people for the weekend. We know people are coming from out of state, from Ohio and also as well as like Buffalo and Rochester, Syracuse, those places coming down for the weekend, and really spending Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So like you said, starts today, kick it off, and they're here for the weekend and having a great time. And
well, it kicks off today. You ready?
Yeah. I'm ready. No, I'll be ready on Sunday.
No, you're quick to answer. Yes. How long does it take you to plan? Do you start pretty much right at the end?
Yeah, all year long.
Really?
Yeah, yep.
Wow.
And it's never enough time.
I'm sure
it's crazy.
Well, and I wanted to start off the interview with this, and I didn't. And first of all, congratulations. So in 2024, you're named one of the best October events in New York State.
Yeah,
that's a huge honor.
Yeah,
that's Travel Pulse.
Travel Pulse. Yeah.
And then in 2025, Time Out named you the event of one of the best Halloween events in the U.S.
Yeah.
Got to be a little overwhelming. Did you expect that when you first kicked it off?
No, I mean, our hope Our hope is that it becomes one of those big draws that people want to come to every year, because we're trying to transform, Corning into 1880s Corning with actors in costume.
Right.
More and more, like when we have the libations crawl on Friday, a lot of people actually come dressed up. Sometimes they have better costumes than the actors,
sure.
So that's the intention, was to have it grow into something special like that, but we didn't expect those accolades. It's really nice.
And the thing is, I mean, it's a huge honor to be called best Halloween event in the U.S.
Yeah.
One of the.
But
at the same time, I think of it as more than a Halloween event.
Yes.
Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, no. I mean, the Halloween is is part of the essence of it, but it's actually, it's local history, right? We're embracing the history that Corning's role in playing and getting light out into the world, right? So it's really a celebration of light and glass.
Yeah, and it does have a Halloween-y feel to
absolutely.
it. But I do want to, because I'm sure there's people that somehow haven't heard of it yet. Tell us a little bit about the Days of Incandescence.
Yeah, so going back historically, it's set in 1880, 1887, or 1879 and 1880 is when Corning Glass started making light bulbs for Thomas Edison, the glass. Apparently the story goes that there was one of the shop boys actually blew the first bubble that was the right shape.
Oh, wow.
But later 3 men claimed to be that boy.
Okay,
so there was
well,
this
that's
mystery,
how it goes, right?
So we embraced that mystery and said, okay, there's these phantoms that show up and they help get light out in the world, and they're the ones who blew that first bubble. So we do have that supernatural element to tie into Halloween.
Yeah.
But it's also based on local and world history. And we basically have, as you said, we added a lot of things. So tonight, is guided walking tours. There's a cemetery tour. Those have all sold out. They sell out very quickly.
Well, that's great for you guys. I mean, that goes to show you the draw and the popularity of it.
It is. It's been astonishing, really, because people just really love it, which is great, and that's what we were hoping for. And then tomorrow, Friday, is the libations crawl. There's still tickets available for that. There are 12 spots here on Market Street, and there'll be a winery, a brewery, a meadery, a distillery in one of those spots, so people can go in and do tastings.
You don't have to dress up.
You don't
You're
have
just
to dress
encouraging.
Up. We're encouraging it, and a lot of people do for fun, but you can just come, whatever. And you get a tasting vessel, you get a wristband, and you walk around and kind of stroll Market Street, go into some shops you might not have been in, and taste some locally produced wines, beer, that sort of thing.
And it is all local. You even go back to, you talk about the Corning history. A lot of the costumed people are dressing up as a Corning historical figure, maybe.
Yeah, residents of Corning, actual historical figures. You're right.
Isn't that interesting?
And they're kind of doing these little vignettes this year, which will be like, Frederick Carter having a conversation with T.G. Hawks down by the Hawks building.
How
so
perfect.
It's really fun,
Wow, this is really impressive, if I can say, just to see
Appreciate
how much it has grown from the very beginning. But you mentioned the guided historic walking tours. They're all sold out. I'm not going to focus too much on that. But going back to the themed libation crawl, what can people expect that? So that's Friday. That's tomorrow. What should people know if they want to participate in that?
So again, they can get tickets if they want online. They go to the explorestoBend.com, and we have the Days of Incandescence page right there. It's got a link to tickets. You can also get tickets that day. So if you come that day, you can get tickets at the event.
Okay.
They'll get a tasting glass. They'll get wristbands, and then it's basically, and they'll get a little map of the different shops that have the vendors in them.
Perfect.
And then they stroll around. It's from 5 to 9. It's a really fun evening. There'll be some folk music playing in Centerway Square for a while. There'll be some other folk music and other entertainment on the street.
Oh, wow.
So it's just it's basically a casual adult trick or treat.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
You don't have to go in and knock on a door or anything like that. You just go in and taste.
And I want to talk about Saturday's event too, because that's kind of the culmination.
Yeah,
every day, Thursdays, Friday, both fun for different reasons.
Right.
Saturday's a big thing. Have you always had live folk music? Because I saw them there.
We have tried to, yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's as close as we can get to 1880s. What they would have had, right? And it's more of fitting. It's acoustic, so it's not amplified or anything like that. And we have that. We'll have a couple different acts as well on Saturday playing music. Again, we have the World Record Pumpkin Carver there.
I got to hear more about this.
And then we have, the blacksmith from Heritage Village will be doing blacksmithing demonstrations. There's a juggler. There's a magician. Lots of vendors, food. So there's just a variety of things. It's an old-time festival,
right?
But again, things people that would have done in 1880, like there's a potter, So there's people that are doing crafts that have been around for quite a long time.
And you even mentioned that the Headless Horseman is going to be there.
Headless Horseman, yeah, very cool.
But I want to hear more about. I mean, I don't even know how someone wins Guinness Book for pumpkin carving, but it's very impressive. Tell me, because this is his second year.
Yes, he was here last year.
Yeah. So what does he do? Does he do a bunch of pumpkins? One big pumpkin? How's it work?
Yeah, I mean. he'll bring one giant pumpkin, and then he'll bring probably 2 or 3 or 4 other smaller pumpkins, and he'll carve those. He's great with interacting with the kids and people. So, and he gives you techniques. He'll teach you, like, how he's doing something. So give you pointers to go home. Last year, he actually had some kids come up on stage and kind of do a little carving on a spot.
Oh, that's great.
He's very creative, very engaging for the crowd. He's also very popular because he does a lot of the Bill's ice sculptures and snow stuff. So a lot of people know him from that.
How appropriate.
And he's won, he won one of the shows on the Food Network.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he's an accomplished guy. Yeah, every year, now that he's got all these connections, he says every year he gets to go buy the biggest pumpkin in the world and then carve it. So that's a pretty good gig.
Yeah,
he goes all over the country and all over the world doing that. Yeah.
World-renowned pumpkin carver.
Yeah.
Imagine, I'd like to interview him sometime and just. When he was in high school, is that what he wanted? He
He actually started out as a 2D artist, so he, drawing and stuff like that. He does a lot of. He said he's done over, I think, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of caricatures. And he started doing that, and then started doing the sculpting to just advance his 2D art, and he really fell in love with the sculpting and has made a career out of it.
What a cool story. World record pumpkins, carver Eric Jones, and that's from 2:30 till 6:30.
Yes.
So what time does all the fun start on Saturday?
So on Saturday, that's the first thing, 2:30 to 6:30, and then the actual event in the park starts from 4 to 8.
Okay.
So you can go watch him, come over into the park, and have a great time. And there's some vintage games that from the Victorian era that people can play and stuff like that too.
And you said there's food. Food brings out everybody.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, come out and get a meal and enjoy and take in, because it is not to sound like a hippie, but a cool vibe.
Yeah, the great vibe.
I like the feeling of it. It definitely makes you feel like you're in fall.
Yeah.
I was excited when I was out back moving my car, and I saw some of the lights going up and
preparation.
We've been hanging them. Yeah.
Yep. We've been hanging the lights, so it looks nice. It's just got that small town feel, and you said vibe. It's got that going, and it is a Halloween related event, so but it's not scary. It's spooky kind of, but it's just like fun.
Yeah.
It's not.
And it's a family event. I mean, because you even have, I saw the horse and wagon rides, which has become so synonymous with so many, right?
Yeah, and I sadly just learned today that that's probably not going to happen.
Oh,
horse
breaking
and wagon
news!
Rides. That's
breaking
okay.
news here. That's
bad
for you. Good for me.
Good for you.
No.
I just literally learned that within the last hour.
Okay.
So, but we're going to pivot and do a few other things, and
it's not like you don't have enough going on.
No, we've got storytelling, we've got, like I said, the music, and we've got stuff. We've got a lot of stuff for the family.
So where should people? I mean, parking is always difficult on any event. Yeah. They're aiming for Centerway, though, right?
Yes.
So you want to be as close to Centerway as possible.
Yes.
To take it all
Centennial Park, right by the river.
So what are you looking forward to the most?
I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody reacts, because it's just seeing people have fun. When we're not an event organization,
right.
So this is out of our wheelhouse usually. So putting this on and seeing people come and just really enjoy it. We've had some people who've come the last few years, and they come for the whole weekend, and it's like mom and her son, or family, and just to see them come back and how excited they get about it. We've added a new thing too this year. We're going to have a dance routine being done on the fountain. At 7 o'clock, so that'll be a lot of fun. Some young local dancers will be doing a little routine, so that'll be fun too. So I think that'll be interesting to see.
So you're adding on, and you've got the newspaper again this year.
Yeah, we have
gives
a newspaper.
You all the information.
It's got the outside is all actually history from around 1880.
Oh wow!
And then the inside is like a program basically. It has all the stuff that's happening throughout the 3 days.
So how many volunteers and help behind the scene do you think this takes?
Well, it's pretty much our team.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then the Gaffer District helps us with a lot of things. So it's basically those two organizations, working together. It's something that we run, but the Gaffer District really helps us facilitate it. Just like yesterday, we spent almost the whole day putting those lights up.
Yeah, it looks great.
Thanks. Yeah, and we do have some volunteers this year coming to help. We probably have a half dozen people helping, but. We can always use more because
I'll let you
it is
say
a big lift. So
yeah, well, that's what I mean. That just seems like kind of overwhelming.
Yes.
And when you look at throughout the year, when you do when you mention the newspaper and the history aspect to it, is this something you were researching throughout the year too?
Yeah, researching throughout the year. So I'm lucky I can go to the Ray Kyle Library and do a lot of research over there. And it's all, but it's not just glass history. It's local history, world history. And then creating the new piece every year. It's a new newspaper.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's what I mean.
yeah.
I'm looking forward. I'm glad you brought me one because I definitely look forward to reading it. So, what an amazing way! Can people learn more about the original story online too?
Well, we transitioned our website, so there will be information about the original story, like the Edison's involvement and all that stuff. But that's something that is not. I don't think it's currently on the website.
Okay.
It will be probably in the beginning part of the year.
Okay.
But
so I'm asking all the worst questions.
No,
okay.
No, I mean it's great for knowledge. I mean you're
Yeah.
going to get some of that background information, but
Sure.
the actual in-depth story. We had it on our old website. We just
Right,
have
that's
to,
why I
we
wondered.
just have to add it on the new one. So.
And you can find out more. You see the website there on the bottom, just about the event. What should someone know if they haven't been? Just before we go, what should they know about this weekend's events?
I just think come and you're gonna learn. It's kind of fun because you're gonna learn about local history.
Right.
But it's not like in your face didactic, kind of teaching.
Right.
It's basically like an opportunity to engage with people who are having a great time.
Right.
And the vendors a lot of the vendors come in costume, so a lot of it's just a lot of fun. And again, kind of like a step back in time, really.
Yeah.
It's kind of like embracing that small town historic celebration.
And it is, because we talk about community so much on this program, I like it because it is embracing Corning, New York.
Yeah,
and our surrounding area and the history. And I think that's important. And it's a good opportunity for kids to maybe hear a side of Corning that they didn't know about.
Right.
And get excited. So, well, best of luck.
Thank
and I know
you.
we'll be talking in a year.
Yep.
Enjoy it.
Appreciate it.
Rest on Monday. And then
Work on it.
all right. Well, thanks for being on the
Thanks
show.
a lot.
All right. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking. Stay with us.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Fall is in the air, and there's no better place to celebrate than Bradley Farms. Bring the whole family for games. Get lost in our giant cornfield maze. Hop on a scenic hayride. Photo ops and fall memories you'll never forget. Located at 1543 Maple Avenue in Elmira, New York. And pick the perfect pumpkin from our patch. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. Come on out to Bradley Farms, where fall fun takes root.
We are the keepers of the wild. America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
In a few words. Urkel, glasses. Nerd. It pays to know your nerds. If you guys didn't get nerd with me sitting up here on this show, 25 words or less.
Weeknights at 5 and 5.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. Thank you to Dave for being in on the program. Look at this. He left this with me. Look at those pumpkin carvings that the world-class Guinness Book World Record holder carving does. Isn't that amazing? Okay. We've got some viewer comments. The big topic of the day is the East Wing. The entire White House East Wing will be demolished to make way for the ballroom. Trump revealing his project. These viewers say, Mark writes in, as far as the White House, I think it's great. It's getting a makeover at no cost to us. And as far as the Democrats putting out that women married to Republican officials are under distress, that is another Democrat lie. Thank you very much, Mark. Comment from a different viewer calling in saying, good morning. Well, hey, good morning. Let me Add that to the waves. Good morning and goodbye, East Wing. No skin off my nose. Thank you very much. And finally, a comment from a different viewer. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning to you. The media meltdown over the East Wing ballroom is quite entertaining and totally predictable. If a Democrat had built it, it would have been the greatest addition to the White House in history. I'm sure that Trump will invite the Clintons for the grand opening, and Bill will be daydreaming about the things he could have done in a ballroom. Thank you very much. The one thing I'd like to, and I don't know what your thoughts on this would be. What do you think? You know, you see the wood, you see all the things that they're cleaning up. There should be a way to sell that as memorabilia, you know, where you can buy a piece of the East Wing of the White House. Wouldn't that be kind of neat? I mean, I wonder, they've got to be thinking of some way to commercialize it to, the ballroom doesn't even be paid off, so I guess maybe help pay down the debt. I don't know, but wouldn't you like to have a knickknack on your desk, I don't know, something made of the wood from the East Wing? Something to think about. I would. I'm not going to lie. Or someone using some of the wood in parts of their house. I mean, it would be a great talking point. But I don't know what they're going to do with it. I haven't seen anything stated. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We do have to take a break. Keep those comments coming in. And we'll run just a little bit late. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
It's 10 p.m. somewhere. Do you know what your kids are doing online? Brought to you by Ferrario Jeep.
You lather, rinse, moisturize, repeat, and repeat. But it never feels like enough. It's not your products. It's your water. Hard water leaves a mineral residue that clogs pores and dries out hair. Culligan water softeners remove damaging minerals, revitalizing brittle hair and dry skin. Upgrade your shower and skincare routine with Culligan, water you love.
This is a Collector Consumer Alert. Hi, my name is Jared Johnson with SueTheCollector.com. Did you know that repossessions are on the rise in America? If your car, truck, or motorcycle has been repossessed by an agent that broke a lock, assaulted you, or trespassed on your private property, you have rights. Call us for a free case review at 1-877-BAD-REPO. You pay nothing unless we win money for you. Call me now.
Your Big Fox, WYDC TV.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Ball Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning, talking about the East Wing. A viewer writes in, timing is everything, and this is not the right time for the ballroom. Interesting. You raise a fair point. I know it's going to take some time, even originally stated, I'm sure it's still the case, would be after Trump's term, when it was finally finished. They did release the list of donors. Do you want to go through it? Nah, we probably don't have time. Well, let's do it quick. Altria Group, Amazon, Apple, Booz Allen Hamilton, Caterpillar, Coinbase, Comcast Corporation, J-Peep and Emla Fanjul, Hard Rock International, interesting, Google, HP, Lockheed Martin, Meta Platforms, Micron Technology, Microsoft, Next Era Energy, Palantir Technologies, Ripple, Reynolds American, T-Mobile, Tether America, Union Pacific Railroad, Alderson Family Foundation, Stephen E. Brody, Betty Wold Johnson Foundation, Charles and Marisa Cascarla, Edward and Shara Glazer, Harold Hamm, Benjamin Leon Jr., the Lutnick family, the Lauren Isaac Perlmutter Foundation, Stephen Schwartzman, Konstantin Sokolov, Kelly Loeffler and Jeff Sprecher, Paulo Tarami, Cameron Winklevoss, and Tyler Winklevoss. Wouldn't it be nice to have the kind of money where you're just your name is on it, where you're not with a company or organization? I wonder what that donation looked like and what those people's bank accounts look like. Yes, to the one viewer's point, it is a media meltdown. CNN saying why Trump's sudden East Wing demolition is extraordinary and dicey. The optics have perhaps tellingly set off some metaphorical damage control at the White House. But there are a number of reasons why this situation is remarkable and different from your usual presidential renovations. A big one is that the scenes this week fly in the face of how this was billed. All right. I don't want to go through all that. The White House also assured that the construction planning would go through a robust process, et cetera, et cetera. There's very little evidence that that happened. A number of groups that you might expect to be involved in such a process have criticized the lack of consultation or pushed for more. I'm just curious. I hope they do sell pieces of it. John Brennan, who is under investigation, was saying that he's shocked that you, if you're a Trump supporter, that the MAGA base is continue to be hoodwinked by a world-class charlatan. I mean, I was watching your program in terms of, the East Wing of the White House. My goodness, a place that is sacred, in terms of our political system in our country. And they're allowing him to do this. It's just one more symbol of his tearing down of all things that have made this country great for so many years. Of course, he's trying to present this as he's tearing down the White House when it's the East Wing that was put up by FDR. Richard Blumenthal, who got a little pushback recently by, who was it? Who was it at the hearing? Pam Bondi, right? Who called him out for his lies about serving in Vietnam. Well, Nicole Wallace said, have you seen the live images of the destruction of the East Wing of the White House? Blumenthal said, I've seen some images of, and I really believe that they are destroying an American icon, a culture and a symbol of America that is unforgivable. Apart from all the kinds of costs involved, the millions of dollars that should be taken into account and saved, and the sources that put them at the mercy potentially of and beholden to the millionaires who are contributing, they're destroying a structure that is a symbol of America. I'm again struck by the lawlessness that's involved here, this slide towards authoritarianism. So it's lawless, authoritarianism, again, pretending that they're tearing down the original White House. That's what they're trying to present to you. They know that they're lying to you. They just want, they realize if you're watching MSNBC, you were easily duped on this. But again, it wasn't funded by taxpayers, so he's still trying to make that line or plant that seed in your mind that is paid for by us when it is not. He said, I think the American people deserve to know about the big corporations that are contributing literally tens of millions of dollars, each of them, to finance this destruction. It is outright destruction of an American icon, the East Wing of the White House, but also what they're expecting in return. It's what we've seen again in this kind of settlement, blah, 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 blah. So he released a list of all the donors. We're going to talk a little bit more about this wrap-up. We got to talk about the mayoral debate in New York City yesterday. We'll talk about that in the next hour. We'll also be joined by Jordan York. We've got one more segment coming up in this hour. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Tom Witzel, owner of Hesselson's in Amara Heights. At Hesselson's, we care about your well-being and overall health, whether it's relieving stress, muscle recovery, increasing circulation, or just revitalizing the body. Hesselson's now has 2 complete line of infrared and traditional rock saunas in our new and expanded showroom. Come in today and see why owning a sauna is a start of your new healthy lifestyle. Hesselson's is still locally and family-owned and operated in Amara Heights. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
Want to read about ancient wonders? Go to your local library today. But this isn't your father's library. It's the home of creativity. Release your inner audio engineer or face off a dragon in the D&D club. Make your clothing ideas come together with our sewing machine rentals. Create with the 3D printer or come to the library event nights to chat with those within your community. All with your library card. Go to getyourlibrarycard.com today.
It's a season of sharing.
Having a good time has always been my #1 goal. I tend to get crazy. At my age, I should not be jumping up and down like that. And if you don't know what I mean, ask your mama. The young ones, y'all like, we don't know what you're talking about. But I promise you, in 30 years, you will.
It's the best time in daytime.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. on Big Fox.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We've got a lot of comments coming in, but I'm running out of time this hour. We will bring them up at the top of the next hour. So I'm not ignoring you. I just didn't have time to get through all of them. But I wanted to end on this. There's 2 things I want to end on because we're going to talk about the mayoral debate, but keep weighing in. on the East Wing. This was coming out, I think, out of the United Kingdom, but it caught my attention because Drudge Report shared it today. And this ties in with the East Wing, so bear with me. All the signs Donald Trump has no intention of ever leaving the White House. That is the actual headline. I think it was out of the Sun, out of the United Kingdom. But all the signs Donald Trump has no intention of ever leaving the White House. And this is serious. I'm not reading this like a kind of like a Carson thing or something. So this is what they said. It looks increasingly like Donald Trump wants to cling on to power beyond his legal term. Okay. This is why. 1, he keeps telling people he's going to run in 2028. That's fair. Now we know Trump likes to get under a lot of people's skin on the left and in the media. I think a lot of that is that, but I'm not going to go through and dissect all of them. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Number 2, he floated the idea of using a war to cancel the 2028 election so he could stay in power. 3, he continues to undermine faith in the United States elections. 4, and he's trying to get the Justice Department to pay him damages. What does that have to do with it? 5, he tried his best to cling on to power last time around. 6, he pardoned almost everyone who took part in the coup. 7, he's remodeling the White House to make it more like Mar-a-Lago and a project that will take longer than his current term. So they point to the ballroom at the White House as being one of the signs that Trump is going to cling on to power after his term. So, for whatever reason, that is a huge red flag to Mr. Mikey Smith. Number 8, people fear he's planning to use the military to intimidate people voting in the midterms and beyond. And finally, 9, because why would you make a top 10 list? Why wouldn't you just stick with 9? He's redrawing electoral maps to favor Republican candidates. There you are, folks. All the signs Donald Trump has no intention of ever leaving the White House, and one is the addition of a ballroom at the White House. But Miranda Devine has a very different opinion, and she says that Trump treats the White House with reverence, and he's rebuilding our nation's pride with the historic renovations. Now, of course, Trump critics are going to use this as another example of his authoritarianism. Suddenly, the people who cheered on as vandal revolutionaries toppled statues of Teddy Roosevelt and Abraham Lincoln or tore down Confederate monuments are ardent preservers of American history. What a great point by Miranda Devine. She actually goes through and gives some of those specific examples. It's not his house, tweeted Hillary Clinton, whose best-known contribution to the White House was making off with $28,000 of furniture when she and Bill moved out. Now, irony of all ironies, Joe Biden's former DIS press secretary, KJP, declared the ballroom, which is being funded by Trump and private donors, is corruption at its core. This is from a woman who gaslit America on Biden family grifting, not to mention her boss's cognitive decline. Anyways, what she's saying is it makes you take more pride that he's doing this in reverence. Donald Trump is a builder. He builds skylines, resorts, and businesses. Now the president is putting that passion for building beautiful things into restoring America. His opponents haven't built a thing. They are just good at nitpicking and destruction. On that note, hour number 1 in the books, the mayoral race, the debate last night. When we come back, love to hear your thoughts. Stay with us. Hour number 2, moments away.
When you're online, don't forget to visit our Facebook page at Big Fox News. Catch up on news from the Twin Tiers. Vote on the daily question and hear about local events. All on Facebook.com/Big Fox News.
Right now, get a 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee L with third row seats for 0% for 72 months. Wow, 0% is here with seating for up to 7 passengers and even more cargo space. A new Grand Cherokee L, 0%, 72 months. Wow.
If you don't see me, I can't save you any money.
The Drive Into Fall event is going on now at Ferrario.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
The Sports app isn't just any sports app. Touchdown! Your teams, your highlights, your scores. Get more of what you want. To the end zone! Stream your teams live. It's free with your pay TV subscription.
Welcome to hour number 2 of Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We are broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Market Street in Corning. We've got so much to cover. We were talking about the East Wing of the White House. We see how the media is trying to convince you that they're just tearing down the White House. And how this is another example of the top 9 that one piece gave of why Trump is going to cling to power after his first term. But let's go to some viewer comments. Do these people realize the White House was gutted for repairs in 1950? Exactly. This is not new. Comment from a different viewer. That's a great idea to sell East Wing debris. It could fund the SNAP program during the government shutdown. Good point. As for the timing, you have to get up pretty early to keep up with Trump. He's also a multitasker and can run circles around a typical politician. You're right. But I do think selling it, and I don't know how, maybe they use it for some charity or you donate to various charities, certain wood. I don't know. I just hope I can't imagine it's just going to go to a garbage dump somewhere. But maybe. Comment from a different viewer. Good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. All I would say to the people upset over the history is, where were you when the statues were being toppled? Oh, you beat us to the punch on Miranda Devine. Sorry, I wish I would have read that before. So that was originally your thought. I like that. And you're exactly right. They did not seem to care about history too much when they were trying to erase it. Ken writes in, all the fearmongers push the same type of rhetoric, either here or in the United Kingdom. They can't dazzle us with their brilliance, so they try to baffle us with their, I'm going to say, baloney. Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. All right. Curtis Sliwa began yesterday by quitting his radio gig on air, not happy with the boss, the owner of the station, calling for him to drop out. And I guess numerous reporters or DJs or whatever you call them telling him to, no, because that's a talk station. So talkers telling him to drop out. He said, "You will never see me at the studios of WABC again," as he accused his colleagues of betraying him and complained to the host, Sid Rosenberg, that the station was giving preferable treatment to the independent candidate, former Governor Andrew Cuomo. So that started off the day. Then we heard that over 650 rabbis sign on to a letter opposing Mamdani, fearing for, because of his rhetoric in the past, fearing for Jewish citizens' safety in New York. In the open letter titled "A Rabbinic Call to Action Defending the Jewish Future," the signer said they cannot remain silent in the face of rising anti-Zionism and its political normalization through our nation. So this was coming over 650 rabbis. Wow. So that kind of kicked off yesterday. Then we had the debate, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Mamdani breaking a sweat, not doing, I don't know if you want to say as good of a job as the last time, but definitely more visible that he was not, it wasn't his best performance. Zohran Mamdani broke a sweat, literally, writes the New York Post, during a knockdown, drag-out final mayoral debate, as a fired-up Andrew Cuomo repeatedly pressed him to quit acting and deliver straight answers. The normally smooth-talking socialist was repeatedly pinned into a corner by the unlikely tag team of Cuomo and Curtis Sliwa, who labeled Mamdani's policy proposals fantasy. Seizing the last opportunity to cut Mamdani down to size, with 13 days to go before the general election and early voting starting on Saturday, the rivals wouldn't let any of the Democrat nominees' non-answers slide off the stage. "Don't be a politician," Sliwa told him. And then Sliwa taunted Mamdani when he tried to dodge giving his opinion about important ballot proposals, saying he was, quote, appreciative that those measures will be on the ballot. Oh, what a shocker, Cuomo sniped before mocking the frontrunner. A visibly sweaty Mamdani also steered clear of straightforward answers when pressed on education reform, public safety, housing, ballot measures. The Rock'em Sock'em debate wasn't a complete wash for Mamdani, as much as it boiled down to whether the 34-year-old Queens Assemblyman's lack of experience was worse than Cuomo's arguably bad record as a three-term governor. That is the argument. Is his lack of experience worse than Cuomo's experience? We had the quote from Cuomo yesterday where he said, if you don't have the experience, people can literally die. And this is coming from the guy who caused people to literally die with his nursing home edict during COVID. But they are saying that Cuomo, overall, it seems to be the consensus is that Cuomo seemed stronger, more confident, where Mamdani seemed quite the opposite. He said things, Cuomo keeps tying him in, saying that basically Trump's going to eat Mamdani's lunch. I don't know. Cuomo said he thinks he's a kid and he's going to knock him on his tuchus, meaning Trump, whom the president has dubbed Mamdani my little communist. Anyway, I don't want to get into quoting too many people, but I do want to go through what the takeaways have been. Sliwa did say of Mamdani, though, your resume could fit on a cocktail napkin. And then he turned to Cuomo saying, you fled from being impeached. Andrew Kurtzman, a longtime communications specialist, said it was Mamdani's weakest performance this cycle. Both his opponents were in rare form and ganged up on him all night. At one point, they were literally laughing at him from both sides. Mamdani is an extremely talented debater, but he seemed besieged. The problem for Cuomo, though, is that he needed both of them to have a bad night. If Sliwa's numbers don't fall, there is no way Cuomo can win. But Sliwa had a terrific night. He has grown as a candidate this year. It's impressive. Now, Mamdani, perhaps appreciative of Sliwa's unwilling assist, gave his rivals some love when they asked the question how he'd vote if it were a ranked choice election. Mamdani said, myself number one and Curtis number two. Sliwa said, oh, please don't be glazing me here, Zoran. All right, there we go. CNN said the takeaways from the race is that Cuomo gives Mamdani a dressing down about his experience. The governor doesn't build housing in New York City, Cuomo said. Mamdani retorted, not if it's you. That led Cuomo to accuse Mamdani of never having accomplished anything. I did things, you have never had a job. There's no reason to believe you have any merit or qualification for 8.5 million lives. You don't know how to run a government. You don't know how to handle an emergency, and you literally never proposed a bill on anything that you're not talking about in your campaign. Yeah, I mean, if you look at his record, he hasn't been in the assembly now for over a year, essentially. Actually, the one bill that he got last year that was passed, or this year that got passed, he wasn't even there to vote for it. But I don't think that talking point resonates as much as they think, because Cuomo's saying that he doesn't have the experience and it's 8.5 million lives at stake. It almost brings up the glaring fact that Cuomo put COVID positive patients in with our most vulnerable during COVID into nursing homes. So how do you, well, it's almost like he wants attention on that. But Mamdani did tear into Cuomo's experience argument, bringing up his accused sexual harassment and these types of things. You sought to access one of Cuomo's accusers, her private gynecological records. She cannot speak up for herself because you lodged a defamation case against her. I, however, can speak. What do you say to the 13 women that you sexually harassed? Now, that question drew applause from Mamdani supporters in the audience. He responded, Cuomo, at first by suggesting Mamdani was being unserious and immature. He then launched into his defense, saying 5 district attorneys declined to pursue the case and that he had not been found criminally or civil liability. The 3 candidates talk about ICE. This is just takeaways quickly from CNN. Mamdani's rivals gang up on him about the ballot measures. Mamdani sends a clear signal about policing. Mamadani said he would consider keeping New York Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch if elected, but he stopped short of committing to asking her to stay on. He has issues with that, just like when he wouldn't endorse Hochul. Mamadani did face a lot of criticism over his past anti-Semitism, saying, Mamadani said, I look forward to being a mayor for every single person that calls the city of New York home. All 8.5 million New Yorkers, and that includes Jewish New Yorkers, who may have concerns or oppositions to the positions that I've shared about Israel and Palestine. So that's when Cuomo said, oh, you're the savior of the Jewish people now? You won't denounce globalize the Intifada, which means kill Jews? There is and then he referred to the letter signed by over 650 rabbis saying there's unprecedented fear in New York. Sliwa said, let me speak on behalf of my two sons when they heard some of the statements you've made. This against Sliwa. They view you as the arsonist who fans the flames of anti-Semitism. They cannot suddenly accept the fact that you're coming in like a firefighter and you're going to put out those flames. You've got a lot of explaining to do and a lot of apologizing to do. And finally, Sliwa goes after Cuomo, and then Cuomo fires back. So that's the takeaways from CNN, but I want to hear your takeaways. The Hill said that it kind of turned, the Cuomo-Mamadani rivalry turned into a knife fight. It got nasty. Mamadani even calling Cuomo a desperate man, with Cuomo calling Mamadani Donald Trump's puppet. So Cuomo's been using that to stoke fear around Trump. If Mamadani wins, we know that. Again, Sliwa gets some notable moments. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He quit his job at WABC just because he was sick of them calling for him to step down. So he's not going anywhere, and this performance does not help Cuomo. It doesn't hurt. It does hurt Cuomo because Sliwa is not going to lose numbers from his performance last night. If anything, he may gain. Again, that powerful line of Andrew, you didn't leave. You fled from being impeached by the Democrats in the state legislature. Sliwa also sought to position himself as the adult in the room, referring to Cuomo and Mamadani as the two school kids multiple times in the debate. And a rowdy audience brings the energy, according to The Hill. No one's ever in check anymore in debates. But they're saying, many saying no game changer there. I'd like to hear your thoughts. We've got a couple other takeaways. I will say it was a good night for Cuomo and Sliwa, which hurts Cuomo in the long run. But Mamadani, not his best performance. And this is the last debate of the season for mayor, but I don't think enough was done by Cuomo or Sliwa to change the trajectory of the New York Times. So take it with a gigantic grain of salt. Is suggesting that behind closed doors, Trump is saying that it's inevitable that Mamadani is going to win if you look at the polling numbers. So your thoughts on that? We can keep talking about the East Wing. We got some great conversation going with that. Coming up in just a little bit, we are going to talk with Jordan York. He's running for Elmira City Court Judge. He'll be joining us about 10 minutes here. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
We are proud to serve our country, to serve our local communities, to wear the uniform, to be a soldier, to serve abroad when and where duty calls. We are ready to stand with our brothers and sisters to defend, to serve, to fight. We're always ready, we're always there. We are the New York Army National Guard.
In 1954, a loaf of bread was 15 cents, a gallon of gas was 22 cents, and Cutler's Carpet and Flooring opened as a little store with a big red door. For 72 years, we've been your go-to floor covering store. With that kind of longevity, you know we have great service, best selection, best prices, and best installation. Celebrate our 72nd birthday where you get the presents. We've lowered prices on carpet, LVT, hardwood, ceramic tile, and do the home improvements you've been considering. Get your home ready for the holidays with Cutler's 72nd birthday sale. Cutler's, we have a buddy in the flooring business.
Small businesses are the heart of America. Like you, these entrepreneurs started out with a dream and the drive to build a better life. If you have a small business idea to grow or challenge to face, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1964, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses. Today, they are the nation's largest nonprofit source of expert mentoring, resources, and education. Whether you're starting out, building back, or have worked at it for years, SCORE will match you with specialized mentors. Our thousands of volunteers provide the guidance and connections you need for free. Your success is waiting. SCORE is ready to help. Find a mentor today at SCORE.org.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio. A couple comments from viewers here. Regarding the nursing home murders Cuomo was responsible for, his administration reported the number of murders at 8,500. However, after investigation, the number became 150,000 possibly. I know, or 15,000, right? Yeah, 15,000, I'm sorry. I typed in something incorrectly when I hit paste. Yes, that was another thing that he was involved in. The cover-up was as much a part of the scandal as the deaths, the needless deaths, the deaths that should not have happened if it weren't for the quote-unquote leadership of, at that point, Governor Cuomo. Comment from a different viewer. If Cuomo can make it in New York, I don't think he'll be able to make it anywhere, as the song goes, else. Yeah, if he can't make it in New York, I don't think he'll be able to make it anywhere. I think he still has delusions of grandeur. I don't think this is it. I know the headline blaring yesterday, this could be Andrew Cuomo's last debate. I don't think so. And it could be keep stepping down. Next thing you know, he tries to run for comptroller or something like that. I don't see him going away. What else do we have? Oh, this was the New York Post said who won the debate. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. And we do have other things to talk about other than the debate. I have a couple things here about New York State in general that we're going to want to bring up. Also, we have Jordan York, who's going to be on the program here in just a little bit. But the New York Post said that Cuomo won the debate. That's according to Lee Murnhoff, director of the Marist University Institute for Public Opinion. He had a good night. He landed more punches and exposed weaknesses in Mamdani's presentation. He presented doubts about Mamdani. So they put together a panel of quote-unquote experts to grade the candidates. They gave Andrew Cuomo an A to A+ performance. Even Republican strategist Rob Ryan saying he was tonight's big winner. So Cuomo, A to A+. Cuomo was the only candidate who appeared ready to lead on day one. His attack on Mamdani's lack of experience was strong, on target, and seemed to rattle Mamdani. Then you had Zohran Mamdani, depending on who you talk to, receiving a B- to D performance. That's quite a gap. He seemed rattled by Cuomo's pounding attacks on his lack of experience. It wiped away his usual smirk, and he had no real responses. One of the worst moments of the debate for Mamdani was self-inflicted. He refused to take a position on a ballot initiative aimed at making it easier to build more affordable housing, an issue he claims to champion. His lack of specifics on key issues like ballot initiatives gave Cuomo and Sliwa an opening to go on the attack. The oxygen went out of the room when Mamdani ducked instead of taking a position on the housing initiative. That was the closest you can get to an aha moment. He looked a lot like a politician for the first time. He was hemming and hawing. He was inconsistent. He was dodging. And then they noted, as I mentioned earlier, at points when Cuomo and Sliwa were literally laughing at him from both sides. The optics on that, very damaging to Mamdani. And they gave Curtis Sliwa an A performance. Sliwa had a terrific night. He has grown as a candidate, as I mentioned earlier. The allegations of sexual harassment continue to haunt Cuomo. They reinforce people's negatives about him. Sliwa also shined when slamming a law that Cuomo signed as governor, which raised the age of criminal responsibility from 16 to 18, an issue that we've been talking about a lot. Yesterday, we talked about it with Chemung County Sheriff Bill Schramm. The lives that have been negatively affected of these young kids, destroying their lives early on. No one wanted to mix with Sliwa on that specific issue. That's his bread and butter. So the final debate before the general election, as I said, early voting starts on Saturday. But Cuomo finally landing some punches, it looks like. Will it be enough to change the trajectory of this race? Also, we were talking earlier, if you are just joining us, your thoughts on the East Wing. The East Wing will be taken down. My thought is they should be selling pieces of it for artifacts, but I haven't heard anything about that. Moving on, I also think this gives the media an opportunity that they're always looking for, and those on the left, to misrepresent exactly what's happening. You would think, after listening to Senator Richard Blumenthal and others, that he was tearing down the whole White House and putting up Trump Towers and Mar-a-Lago, when he is tearing down the East Wing, which 1942, I think is the year that people said was originally put up by FDR. That is now being converted to the ballroom, but the media even going as far as saying this is another example of how Trump will stay in office forever. So I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But we got to take a short break, because when we come back, we're going to be talking with Jordan York, running for Elmira City Court Judge. After that, we'll be reading your comments. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV, Big Fox.
What better way to start or end every day than relaxing in your very own Hesselson's hot tub? Massage therapy, relaxation, stress reliever, pain management, soothing muscles, or just spending time with a loved one. Hot water therapy really does make every day better. Hesselson's has been a part of this great community for over 70 years, still being locally owned and operated. So make the drive to Hesselson's and start making your path to a better life today. And after 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
This isn't Children's Library. Create with the 3D printer. Release your inner audio engineer or sewing machine rentals, all with your library card. Go to getyourlibrarycard.com today.
Do you know that children growing up with poor air quality have smaller lungs and higher rates of asthma than children that grow up with good air quality? And unfortunately, poor communities have poor air quality. IQ Air Foundation is working to change this. Today, the IQ Air Foundation provides filtration technology to schools with poor air quality through our Clean Air for Kids program. Our goal is to help over 50,000 school children every year breathe over 90% cleaner air indoors, helping to level the playing field, reduce barriers to learning, reduce sick days, and increase test scores. Mitigating poor air quality is key to environmental justice. Help Clean Air for Kids reach more children at IQAirFoundation.org.
Football's newest show breaks down all things NFL. GMFB Overtime.
Check out top highlights, player interviews, special guests, and everything in between. 5 days a week.
GMFB Overtime. It's football for everyone.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acom. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio. And in that studio, candidate for Elmira City Court Judge, Jordan, thanks so much for being on the program.
Hi, Frank. Thank you very much.
This is exciting. How's the campaign going?
Oh, the campaign is going great. We have been out basically door to door since February, but for the past 1.5, 2 months, we've been out. And the mantra for us really is, knock on doors, talk to people, because it's really important in these off-year elections to, get people out to vote. And how better of a way to do that than actually get out there, talk to people, have connections with people, and tell them the importance.
I couldn't agree more. And one of the questions I'm going to ask later, but I want to get to your background on all that, is because that's the $1 million question, how to get people out to vote this year and off year. So we'll talk about that in a second. But let me first ask the basic. Tell us about your background. Tell us about you.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in the city of Elmira on North Main Street. That's where I grew up. Big extended family there. rooted in Elmira, a lifelong resident of Elmira, but for law school.
Okay.
I went to EFA, graduated from EFA in 2004, and then subsequently graduated from Brockport, and then finally Michigan State is where I went to law school, graduated from law school there.
Okay.
After that, I came back here, and essentially my career started at the DA's office. So I spent 6 years, starting in 2013 in the DA's office, 2013 to 2014 in the DA's office, but 6 years there handling felony matters, violent felony matters, misdemeanor matters in both county court and Elmira City Court. But Elmira City Court was basically my main court. I was there almost every day for the majority of that 6 years. So that's misdemeanor cases, violation level cases. You know, thousands of cases go through Elmira City Court a year. It's a high volume court.
Yeah.
All, you know, misdemeanors and violations in the city of Elmira. So thousands of cases prosecuted and dozens of trials in city court and county court. After that 6-year period, I decided, and it was right before COVID hit really, because we were home at the DA's office. I came back to the DA's office, but I took an opportunity to go to the city of Elmira as assistant corporation counsel.
Okay.
The reason I did that is I wanted to kind of diversify my experience. You know, criminal was my main focus for 6 years. I still am able, DA Wetmore delegates to us the ability to prosecute criminal cases, but it's local code cases in Elmira City Court.
Oh, interesting.
But also what I'm doing is basically anything that you would think a municipal lawyer is doing, right? Small claims cases, civil cases, appellate cases, and then advising the agencies on various legal issues. I also I don't sit on the board as board members, but I'm there in my capacity as assistant corporation counsel, boards such as the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Historic Commission, and then the Planning Commission as well. But still, multiple times a week, I'm in Elmira City Court handling criminal cases and small claims cases. Really, the entirety of my 12 years has been substantially practicing in Elmira City Court.
Well, why did you do that? That's quite a resume. Why did you decide to run?
Well, I decided to run, and it was over the course of time. I can't really pinpoint one moment, but I think there was a period of time where I started to realize the experience I have is very good experience, and how can I better serve, you know, the citizens of Elmira and just Elmira generally.
Sure.
And I think with the experience that I have, with the knowledge of the continuing procedure of city court throughout that 12 years, my thought was, what better way to do it than sit on the bench? And that's really why I decided. I couldn't give you an exact, you know, minute.
Aha moment.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is so important. That's why I'm glad you could be on the program, because this race, like all races, are very important. But 10-year term, that's amazing how this whole process works. And I know I've talked about this on the past on the show, but for 10 years, you are non-political if you become judge.
Right.
But right now, you have to be somewhat political. It's the kind of the oddest system that I can think of.
It's very odd, and frankly, I'm not. You know, everybody has political views.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not really political to the degree of actually going out and running for something.
Right.
But the way I view this, obviously, there's a window period. I'm sure you're aware of that, where you can do limited political things, but you can't necessarily do.
Oh, you're fine.
Do everything that, say, you know, somebody running for mayor could do.
Yeah.
But the way I view this is, in the way that I can wrap my head around it, is it's a prolonged job interview. And basically, I'm interviewing for the residents of the city of Elmira.
Yeah. That's why you're knocking on doors, right?
Exactly. And that's really been our mantra the entire time. I have a very close-knit group of people who know me that go out, not necessarily with me. They'll go out on their own. And really, I think that's important, because it's people who know me and can actually speak substantively to citizens about who I am.
Right.
And of course, if they want to speak to me directly, these people know how to get a hold of me, and I can get to those people. So that's really how I view it. It's political, but really it's a job interview, and it's getting yourself out there and getting your experience out there. One thing I've noticed talking to people, we've talked to a lot of people, very receptive.
Great.
Doesn't matter, you know, what kind of area you are in. very receptive and really experiences what they're looking at. So what better way to get out?
And they want to find out about you. That's why, again, I love doing these interviews, because it is getting more difficult to find information about cannabis. You wouldn't think so in the information age, but going to Facebook and things like that is one thing. But actually hearing from the person one-on-one is completely, it's a game changer for so many people at the end of the day. But like I said, this is a 10-year term. So for people that aren't aware, what would your responsibilities be if you are elected for Elmira City Court Judge?
Okay. Elmira City Court Judge presides over misdemeanor cases, limited felony cases before they're actually indicted. They can go through Elmira City Court. Violation level cases. So you're basically presiding over those thousands of cases that I was talking in criminal alone, but you're also doing, you're presiding over small claims cases, certain civil cases, and landlord-tenant issues as well. So it's a very, there's a lot of responsibility there. You are basically the referee in the courtroom. That's what you're doing. You're making sure that everybody plays by the rules, right? The prosecutor, defense, making sure everybody plays by the rules and conducting the court, basically. You're the conductor. But also in non-jury trials, like violation level trials, or if a defendant requests a non-jury trial, you're the trier of fact as well.
Okay, wow. Okay,
as opposed to jury trial where the jurors are the trier of fact and the judge is basically the referee and advises on the law.
Wow.
So you engage in many different things. Plea negotiations, you're not making the plea offers, but you're basically supervising them, and you have the ability to say, I'm not going to accept that offer.
Right.
So that's essentially it. There's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah,
there.
it sounds. I think not it. I think that sounds like plenty. But you're new to this. You've been talking about knocking on doors. How has the campaign been for you? Were there surprises? Is this what you expected?
So it was. It's a little daunting at first. Knocking on doors, as you said, never did this before. So knocking on doors was a little daunting. But what I realized is just, and what I was surprised, maybe not surprised, but what pleasantly surprised, I guess, is the reception. People aren't, very rarely are people slamming doors on you. People want to engage. They want the information. I think that's probably, and even, for example, my brother he walks for me, or he's out constantly as well. But he's like, what am I going to do when this is over? I want to keep doing this.
Oh, that's not good.
Just because he enjoys, like I enjoy, the conversation and the bonds that you can make. Like I said, I come from a big family. If I mention North Main Street, for example, some people that I've never talked to before on the other side of the city might say, oh, okay, I was down there, or I knew some people down there. And you mention the family. And then they have a story about your family that you can take home. At that point, you can take home and talk to people about it, and they've never heard it before. So I think the pleasant surprise for me is just that people are very receptive, and they want to engage, and they want the information.
And I know people aren't going to believe me because I pick on the petition process so much in so many ways, but it is such a rewarding experience because you learn about your city, your town, whatever you're doing it for, more than you could ever learn just walking down Marcus Street, walking down in Elmira, you learn so much about your fellow residents, don't you?
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. And the petition period's interesting because you get a signature, so as opposed to when you're actually out and you're like, I'm here to talk to you, for 30 minutes if if you want to. And that happens as the days get
shorter.
Shorter. That becomes, you talk to 3 people instead of the more you could talk to when it was 9 o'clock. But
that's the problem with petition season time. My goodness, you're in by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It seems like at that time. But what I like to, you're giving the voters an opportunity to learn about you, not just knocking on doors, because you can't hit every door, right? People aren't always home. So I thought this was a unique idea that you're offering, and it's actually this Saturday, Coffee with a Candidate. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Coffee with a Candidate, it's going to be at the White Eagle in the city of Elmira from 10 to noon. And basically the thought behind this was every Saturday when I was growing up, that's It's what we did.
Yeah.
We went to my parents, or people came to my parents' house for coffee.
Mm-hmm.
This is a meet and greet. It's informal, and really what it's aimed at is anybody who I haven't talked to, or anybody who's just undecided and wants to come in and chat. You come by, chat with me. I'll be there. Chat with the committee members as well, and have a donut, have some coffee, and if you want to go early vote, you can go early vote beforehand.
Is that how that timed out? Is that why you picked the 25th?
Well, it was a good time to do it.
That's perfect day to do it. I'm just teasing, but that's, again, Coffee with a Candidate, and that's this Saturday, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. It's amazing. The early voting does start on Saturday as well, and boy, time is going fast, isn't it?
Yeah,
November 4th.
Absolutely.
It's coming right around
Absolutely.
the corner.
I can't. The beneficial thing is November 5th, spend more time with my son. He just started kindergarten, and it's transition time for him too, so it's tough having to be out there, but that's at the same time it's rewarding.
Oh, yeah.
So it'll be good. He's a trooper. So.
Yeah. Have you taken him out on the stump?
I have not taken him out on the
good
stump.
For you.
Yeah, I don't.
Good for you.
I never even thought about doing that just because he might like it too much.
Yeah, you don't want that.
He's a little socialite.
Yeah, you don't want that. So when you're talking to people, when you're knocking on doors, what are voters saying overall? I know sometimes they ask questions of judicial candidates that you can't answer, but what has been the overall kind of theme, if there is one?
Well, I think it's just the interest. There's an interest in it, and people are, uniformly. There's certain things, everyone has issues, right?
Yeah, of course.
And certain issues everybody seems to have, but that I don't want to get into because of what we talked about as far as the ethics and everything.
Of course.
Like that. But really, it's interest, and people, low turnout is the worry for off-year elections. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are saying, well, we didn't even know about this.
I know.
Sometimes it's people that I left cards with, and that goes to show you, that's a testament to face-to-face contact as opposed to just leaving your palm cards, because those can blow away. Yeah. Those can just get picked up, maybe
thrown away. You don't want to hear that because you had to buy them.
Right.
But the same with signs. I think we're getting so used to seeing signs all the time that it doesn't register. People forget that they can vote now because it's not a national level. It's not even a statewide level. So you see the signs, you go, I wonder what that's about, and you move on.
Right. Well, that's why I appreciate why you're giving me the opportunity, because apparently it's a thing with media generally. I don't think this was covered that much, and so I think that's why it was lost on some people that this was even going on.
I agree, because there's nothing. Again, we came off a big election year last year. There's nothing that draws the various outlets to these local races because it's a lot of work. You got to do a lot of research, and every county and everything's different. So that's why I'm glad, because this show from the beginning has been all about community, and I think it's our privilege to be able to have these kind of interviews. When people are hearing you speak and they find out if they can't make it to Coffee with a Candidate, how can they help your campaign? How can they find out more?
Right. So Facebook, we're on Facebook, prominent on there. That is, my wife will be upset if I don't get this right. Jordan York for Elmira City Court Judge. That's what you would search for Facebook, and then yorkforjudge.com is the website. And what I would say is, if anybody wants to speak with me, please reach out, because that's really what I'm about here. I'll come to you and I'll speak to you. So reach out right on the website or on Facebook. You'll see our phone number, or the committee's phone number, and the committee's email address, and somebody from the committee will get to me directly, and I'll come talk. So.
Okay, here's a big question I've been asking this year. How do you get out the vote? Do you think it's just the effort you put into it before you hope that pays off? Is there other ways? Please, people are begging to know.
Right. Well, the event, that's something that we're trying. Really pounding the pavement, really, I think is going to be the most helpful.
Yeah, I agree.
Just getting out there.
That's all I can do.
Because, this is a good format. You know what I'm saying? Things like this is always good to reach out to the people. But I really think it's just being out there, having my face out there, and being receptive to conversation.
I agree. All right, here's the big question before we go. What do you say to voters before they either early vote or head to the booth on November 4th?
What I would say is just take a look at my experience and where my experience, where I've had this experience. It's been Elmira City Court. Elmira City Court for the last 12 years, working basically consistently in the court. I know the court, I know the attorneys who go through the court. Unfortunately, I know some people who have gone recurring. Yeah. I'd also say, I'm very versed in all aspects of the court. I was a prosecutor on the drug court team, judicial diversion team, domestic violence court, and DWI court. I'm well-rounded in the court system, and I pride myself on doing the right thing, and I pride myself on really trying to get it right. And I think those are two things that you need in a judge. So that's really what I would try to impart onto voters heading into the booth.
Well, Jordan, thanks so much for being on the show this morning, and best of luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
All right, we'll be right back, but frankly speaking, stay with us.
I see it all, but I'm human.
How can I keep going like this?
Who will listen to me when no one gets it?
Is there a safe space for me? How will I handle it all?
We all have a reason. 988 can help you find it. We hear you. Call, text, or chat 988 for emotional support and crisis services. It's free, confidential, and here for you 24/7.
Want to read about ancient wonders? Go to your local library today. But this isn't your father's library. It's the home of creativity. Release your inner audio engineer or face off a dragon in the D&D club. Make your clothing ideas come together with our sewing machine riddles. Create with the 3D printer or come to the library event nights to chat with those within your community. All with your library card. Go to getyourlibrarycard.com today.
Having a safe home is essential to many aspects of our lives. From a sense of community and safety, to physical and mental health, to economic security and independence. Most homes in our communities are not accessible and are not designed to accommodate the changes that come with age, including the risk of falling. The Older Adults Home Modification Program helps reduce the risk of falls, improves safety, and increases accessibility and independence. Through this program, Rebuilding Together works with older adults to provide no-cost preventative home repairs so our neighbors can safely age in place in the homes and communities they love. To learn more, visit rebuildingtogether.org/safeathome.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Securities in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back, broadcasting live from the Hesselson studio here on Marcus Street in Corning. Thank you so much to Jordan York for being on the program this morning. He's running for Elmira City Court Judge. We were talking about the debate. We've been talking about a lot of things on this morning's broadcast. We've got to take another short break because we ran a little long, but I thought I would use this segment to read all your viewer comments. Rick writes in, good morning, Frank. Well, good morning, Rick. Pretty bad timing for Trump's ballroom. 3 months ago, it wasn't going to even touch the White House, and it would cost $200 million. Now he tears off the entire East Wing, and it's costing $300 million, and he says he's paying for it along with donations. Who are the donors, and what do they want for their money? First of all, just quick editor's note. We actually read the donors earlier on in the program, so that list is out there. As a matter of fact, I got it from CNN. If we don't see fraud out of this, we never will, writes Rick, meaning the donors. This is a travesty. He never asks, never consults, just plows through everything like a bull in a china shop. Changing the face of that building and all the history that has happened there is gut-wrenching, especially now with the shutdown and people working for the government for no pay and standing in food bank lines. If Trump's buddies have $300 million for a crummy ballroom, they should be able to help out those people standing in the food bank lines. Then he tops it off with suing the DOJ for another $230 million. This is nuts. He is a selfish slob. Isn't there an approval process for government buildings like there is for every other building when they are modified? Does Congress have to approve modifications to a government building? Anyways, big sanction on Russian oil. China will keep Putin afloat. Give Ukraine the tomahawk so they can fight back. All I can do is shake my head. That's Rick. Comment from a different viewer. Maybe Cuomo could try to run for governor of California. Maybe he'll move. Maybe he'll carpet bag. Ken writes in, last night's New York City mayoral debate was much the same as the previous debate. Mamdani was called out several times for not answering questions and telling lies, not only by Cuomo and Sliwa, but also by the moderators. Mamdani's smile was gone many times and he was visibly sweating. Hopefully the New York City sheeple were watching and will wake up, but sadly, I would bet most of them didn't even watch. I would agree. If I had to vote for one of them, it would still be Sliwa. His ideas on utilizing existing vacant office spaces for housing, not legalizing prostitution, but focusing on the pimps and johns more than on the women, not closing Rikers Island, returning immunity to the police, and ending no cash bail all sounds great to me, especially since my daughter may be returning to New York City to live sometime in the future. Thank you very much. Yes, Sliwa had a great night last night. Cuomo had a good night too. Mamdani his worst night, arguably, but will that be enough to Ken's point? Probably not. Coming from a different viewer, talking about Mamdani is like talking about Seabiscuit. The race is a dead horse. Talk about something that can change. It does seem, according to anonymous sources behind the scenes, being reported by the New York Times, Trump is saying the same, that it's all over but the shouting. Comment from a different viewer. Remember when Ross Perot talked about the giant sucking sound? That's what New Yorkers will hear if Mamdani wins as mayor and Hochul gets reelected as governor. That will be the sound of people leaving New York. Tennesseans will be chanting, build the wall. Elise Stefanik is a must as governor. And finally, good morning, Frank. Well, good morning. So we now know that the Republican candidate is for New York City mayor. Yeah, he's been there for a while. Isn't it time that Elise Stefanik and Lee Zeldin and other highly respected politicians come to help him? I'm surprised. I don't know. I just think he's considered by many to be an also-ran, and I don't think they wanted to get involved because he's been known to be the Republican candidate for quite some time, and no one's really, that I have heard of, campaigned with him. So I don't think so. And I also say early voting starts Saturday, so probably that will not be happening. A couple of little quick things about the debate, and then we're going to move on. A couple of New York State issues. Wrap up today's edition. Get ready. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking.
You don't have time to go to the gym? The health club is not an option? Come to Hesselson today and see why swim spas and fitness systems can fit into anyone's yard and budget. 12-foot, 14-foot, 15-foot, 18-foot dual temperature hot tub and swim spas are all on display in Hesselson's indoor and outdoor showroom. Try before you buy. 0% interest-free financing options are available on every Hesselson swim spa. Swim and exercise year-round and start making every day better. After 70 years, it's still fun to poke in the corners at Hesselson's.
This is a Sue the Collector Consumer Alert. Hi, my name is Jared Johnson with SueTheCollector.com. Did you know that repossessions are on the rise in America? If your car, truck, or motorcycle has been repossessed by an agent that broke a lock, assaulted you, or trespassed on your private property, you have rights. Call us for a free case review at 1-877-BAD-REPO. You pay nothing unless we win money for you. Call me now.
We've had so many wonderful memories as a family. Dropping Shelly off at school, I prayed he wouldn't get stuffed in a gym bag. Missy might have been the one in Little League.
I'm asking the Lord to watch over my little girl.
Well, while you're at it, ask him for a win. I got money on this.
But Georgie is the one who threw us the real curveball.
I got a girl pregnant.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me? We may not be perfect, but to me, we have the perfect family.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Sorry, checking out these last second comments, which we're going to get to in our last segment. If you don't mind, I didn't have a chance to read all of them, but keep them coming in. So our last segment could just be great viewer comments, shall we? All right. So, looking at the debate last night, Cuomo finally landing some punches. David Marcus writes the 5 things New York Republicans need to hear from Andrew Cuomo if they are ever going to be convinced. A seat at the table. Cuomo should pledge that if elected, Republicans will play a major role in his administration. That he supports ICE. We should hear that from him. That he should promise to work with Trump and a lot. He should call out his own party's cowards. And I think that was it. Yeah. So those are what you need, what he believes David Marcus needs to do if Cuomo's going to get any votes from Sliwa's camp. But Trump tells allies, again, this is the New York Times. Excuse me, the Wall Street Journal. I've been saying the New York Times all morning. It's the Wall Street Journal. They believe, according to anonymous sources, so take it with a grain of salt, in private conversations, the president says that Zohran Mamdani's lead appears insurmountable. He has privately told allies he believes that Democrat Zohran Mamdani, Democrat socialist, is unbeatable in the New York City's mayor's race. According to people familiar with the matter, Trump and his team are convinced the 34-year-old Democrat socialist will defeat Curtis Sliwa and Andrew Cuomo, according to these people, including a senior White House official. All right, some other New York State issues. Potential rate hike coming for NYSEG. I think we could do this story almost every day. This coming out of Rochester. The National Grid has already gotten the green light to raise rates, and New York State Electric and Gas are proposing to raise your utility bills. NYSEG wants to increase delivery rates for gas and electricity. However, the Public Service Commission must approve any rate hike, and regulators are receiving an outpouring of complaints from customers. Quote, they were flushed with cash, but they chose to spend $450 million of it over to their parent company in dividends and then turn around and arrogantly ask this commission and the ratepayers to turn around and replenish their coffers. They want to raise electric delivery rates by 35% and natural gas by nearly 40%. But I've got to say, they want to put all the blame on NYSEG, and I'm not saying they're as pure as the fresh-driven snow, but it's because of the failed green energy programs of Governor Hochul. That is where a lot of this cost is coming from, upgrading the grid and things like that. As a matter of fact, even quote-unquote moderate Assembly Democrats are pushing Hochul to delay all electric building mandates. This is one of her many policies. In quite a lengthy letter, they want her to delay this proposal because if you are thinking about building a house or a business at a time when we lose so many businesses in New York, it will have to be all electric if it's not already erected by this year. At least 9 Assembly Democrats agreed to sign the letter, and the first day it started circulating. I don't want to have a blackout or brownout because especially in the winter, that's just something that I know my constituents and myself could not put up with, said William Conrad, a Western New York Democrat who spearheaded the letter. So yes, right now, I mean, why would any business, why would anybody move and build a house in New York with these policies of one-party rule in Albany and specifically Governor Hochul, going back to the point that one viewer made about Elise Stefanik getting ready to jump in. Hochul is scared of Stefanik. That's clear. She was slamming Stefanik because she supported Carl Palladino and someone else, and she's suggesting that in a memo slammed Elise Stefanik, who has not declared, by the way, over her prior support for Carl Palladino, who once said Hitler, quote, is the kind of leader we need today, end quote, in comments that resurfaced as part of his failed 2022 congressional primary run. Hochul's team is pairing Stefanik's past support for Palladino with her later praise of the former Assembly staffer who was quoted in those hate-filled group chats, his name, Peter Gunta. So you could tell they're in full attack mode. They're scared. So anyway, that should come as no surprise. And they've been hitting out about her support of Zohran Mamdani. DeGrassi, what's his first name? A senior advisor to Stefanik, saying Kathy Hochul literally has endorsed a full-blown jihadist pro-terrorism mayor of New York City. Elise Stefanik is recognized by New York voters, Republicans, Democrats, and independents as the single most effective leader in the country in combating anti-Semitism and delivering accountability, whether it's condemning anti-Semitism, disbanding the Young Republicans, or forcing the resignation of a failed university president. On the contrary, Kathy Hochul has further empowered the jihadist takeover of New York City, putting Jewish New Yorkers at risk. Last break, and we got to wrap up today's edition of Frankly Speaking. Get your last-second comments in.
This isn't your father's library. Create with the 3D printer. Release your inner audio engineer or sewing machine rentals, all with your library card. Go to getyourlibrarycard.com today.
You can just keep watching and scrolling, and the world will still feel like it's falling apart.
Widespread misauthorization. Highest hospitalization. Evacuation in the West. Forced labor.
Or you can take action by joining a movement that's creating real and lasting change instead. Partnering with communities around the globe to help uproot poverty and plant seeds of hope for a brighter tomorrow. Because at World Vision, we believe that no situation is hopeless. Join a movement that's changing the world for good.
It's the best 2 hours of NFL coverage, starting with Fox NFL Kickoff at 11.
This is great TV.
It is caught! Then at noon, take it to the next level on Fox NFL Sunday.
This kid has it all.
Touchdown! America's #1 pregame show. The best NFL pregame shows are back-to-back.
The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. We are back broadcasting live from the Hesselson's studio. We are out of time for today's edition of Frankly Speaking, so let's read last second viewer comments. This viewer writes in that Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is proposing taxing social media platforms, stating, quote, just like we tax other addictive vices that are detrimental to our health, such as nicotine and tobacco, it is long overdue to impose a similar tax on social media companies. Thoughts? He also wants a head tax of $21 per employee imposed on employers. Wow. Yeah, thoughts on that? I don't really have an opinion. I'm never for more taxes. I'll put it that way. I don't know that tax, so they'll take money from us for using social media. Doesn't sound like a way. I've never thought that taxes are a deterrent anyway. When you look at something like tobacco, if they were serious, which they're not, they would have just outright banned it. But instead, they see it as a cash cow. That's what the mayor is seeing here, as a cash cow, where they know that you'll use social media, will not stop you from using social media, but they can line their coffers. Comment from a different viewer. We need a bull in the China shop. This is in reference to what Ken said. Or excuse me, to what Rick said. This is not Ken. I'm sorry. Got too many things coming up here. This is in what reference to Rick said about the president. We need a bull in the China shop after what the Dems did and continue to do. Saying that Trump is in China shop is right on also. Thank you very much. Coming from a different viewer, Trump has done magnificent building projects for decades. The White House addition will be amazing and blend in perfectly with the rest of the buildings. The donors donate to the building fund, not the Trump fund. Thank you. And finally, Mark writes in, come on, people. Hochul's behind this unaffordable electric for her new grid upgrade to handle full electric. Come on, Stefanik. Thank you. Great way to end. On that note, busy morning. Thank you to our guests. I want to thank Dave from the Days of Incandescence, which starts today. I also want to thank Jordan York, who is running for Elmira City Court Judge. Appreciate them being on the program. And on tomorrow's program, we're going to talk a little bit about the Buffalo Bills. Greg Tranter is going to be joining us. He's been the author of numerous books on the Bills. We're also going to talk just about his archive of 108,000 artifacts of the Buffalo Bills that he donated to the Buffalo Museum. So you'll want to catch that tomorrow morning and join us every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. for Frankly Speaking, only on WYDC TV. Big Fox. We'll see you tomorrow morning bright and early. I look forward to it already.
Dear crew,
With an adult-sized third row, everyone's welcome. From sports fans and eco-buffs to movie fans. Slip in, stretch out, and let's go. Toyota.
Right now, you can lease RAV4, the #1 selling vehicle in America, for just $299 a month. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Let her go.